All right, so we are going to be creating a mood board for your illustration project. So this is one that I practiced. I'm going to go through all the steps with you, but just so you can see what an end result might look like. We're keeping it really simple. This part of the project, this sort of warm up, is to get you inspired for a poster design. You're going to create an illustration. What it needs to have in it is a clear theme or idea. It can really be whatever you want. And it can be abstract or stylized, or it can be representational. And it has to have a great composition and great color scheme. So we're using everything that we've learned so far. All the skills that you've learned so far about composition and color are now going to come to work here in this illustration. And so it has the clear theme or idea, anything you want, and it's going to have some lettering, at least 2 letters, and those letters are going to be part of the composition. They're going to fit into a shape. So what I mean by those shapes is, if we look at some of these are some great old, really inspired by these like old national park posters. And I love the show Wednesday, so I picked this for the lettering. You know, this has some great colors. And I also have been seeing some of these trees illustrated like this that I thought could be fun to do in gouache. So I'll show you how I made this, but first I want to show you what I mean about the shapes. So there's a lot going on in this one in particular. Let me zoom in a little bit. And it's a rectangle shape, but then we have a triangle broken down here, and then we can see another triangle here. Then we have, the triangles for the trees. So that's what I mean about breaking down shapes. We see this kind of organic shape here, and it's broken down into really specific sections. And then on the bottom, where the lettering is, look at how the artist created this shading to really make that lettering pop out. So this is how I want you to be intentional about using the shapes that you've been learning about for composition to create a really strong illustration design. Here, again, we have triangles are always a good way to go. I see like a big kind of triangular shape or a, diagonal line cutting across this composition here for the trees, and then there's another diagonal line, and then we have sort of a triangle here and then another diagonal. So it's all these diagonals kind of crisscrossing, and it gives a lot of movement and beauty. Look, here is another triangle. Great triangle here, and here is this curvy road giving us a lot of perspective and depth. A really easy way to create this beautiful amount of depth in your composition, and it's breaking up all this color. All these warm tones are broken up by this cool toned road, and then there's cool tones in the background. This kind of rectangle in the background where the mountains are, and how it's I like how it's curved up. This is very stylized, but it's breaking up the background, and the cool of the mountains and the sky are really letting these fall colors, these warm tones pop out. So this is such a good example of balance between warm and cool. And then here again, Mount Rainier, we have the triangle shape, and I see another triangle here, and then this is, these sections are kind of just like a curved line broken up, and I see these beautiful blue flowers creating, similar to the road in the Vermont poster, creating a sort of perspective line moving our eye through. And also a really great balance of color with the warm and the cool that I think is awesome. And then these I chose because of the way the trees are created. I think I've just been seeing a lot of illustrators doing this, where it's like a round shape for the leaves of the tree, and then they paint or draw the the sticks and, you know, the trunk over that. And I just think that looks really cool and I wanted to try it. So this is an article from Art Business News, and I just wanted to talk to you about, you know, what is illustration. And there's been arguments since the beginning of time about fine art. I don't even love the term fine art, even though I have a degree in fine art, versus illustration. Everybody has their own opinion, and you can really, you know, form your own opinion, right? Whatever you think. But I think, you know, to be an illustrator versus a fine art in a, you know, maybe hanging in a gallery or a museum, an illustration usually has some kind of idea behind it. It might be promoting a business. It might be promoting an idea or a person. Like I think of like band posters are promoting, you know, the musicians, but whereas like an abstract painting doesn't really have that sort of specific theme behind it. They're saying in the simplest terms, what separates illustration from fine art is a paycheck. Illustrators are paid to bring an idea to life. So bringing an idea to life. Again, you can start to form your own opinions, but when I am saying the word illustration, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. And then I just wanted to show you this guy, James Gurney. If you've worked with Dave Roholt at Pierce College, he's a great professor, and he told me about this artist who's just amazing. I mean, look at these letters. He's doing all of this in gouache. He has this whole series, Gouache in the Wild, where he goes and paints. So since we're doing some lettering, I thought this would be really cool to see. And now that you've been working with gouache for a while, I think you can really appreciate the skill that this guy has. Here's another. I mean, I think this is just so impressive to me. And he's out there. We can look, he's out there with his easel in the woods there. So there's always more people to learn from. And if you want to continue, you know, find great teachers. And this guy is a good place to start. Okay. Let's move on to getting your mood board together. So what I always start with a Pinterest board, because I love Pinterest. The reason I love it, here's my board, Pinterest board for this project. The reason I love it is because when you click on an image and then scroll down, it's going to show you all other similar images. So that's where I can really find inspiration quickly, and I'm not getting distracted by friends or likes or anything. It just really keeps me more focused. So this is where I start. You can, of course, use Google Images. The most important thing about this is that these are all copyrighted images. So you cannot copy the compositions or anything from this. This is all just inspiration for you to have a place to start, a jumping off point, and then you have to make it your own. You can't be copying these. The mood board is all about getting inspired. So just remember that all of this is for inspiration. And I love looking at, you know, these old posters. Like, this is insane, and people are doing really cool stuff. I thought this was kind of fun lettering. And these national parks posters, like I was saying, here's a Redwoods one. And contemporary artists have been redoing these too, because this looks digital to me. They're really just, I think they're inspiring. This has great shapes, all these look at these curved lines. So this is what I'm thinking about in terms of an illustration versus some of the other art that we've looked at that maybe doesn't have such a clear theme or idea behind it and doesn't have lettering like this behind it. So this is your challenge of how to make an idea come to life. I also love Pinterest for these palettes that you can find. I mean, just look when I'm scrolling on this, they just give you so many great ideas. So I have a whole board of just palettes that I love. Okay, so I found the images that I wanted to use. I made I'm in Google Drive and I'm going to do this on Google Docs just because that's the most accessible thing for students. So you can, of course, do it in Word or Pages or Photoshop or whatever you want to, but Google Docs is just fine and I think is easy for everyone to access. So I made a folder for this project. And in the folder, I uploaded all the photos that I wanted to use. So from Pinterest, you can right click and save image as and save it to your desktop. Or you can take a screenshot. Just again, remember these are copyrighted, so you can't be copying these. Okay, so I got all the images I wanted to use, and now I'm going to come to New and make a Google Doc. And I want this to be, I need to get more my menus open. So I want to come to File, Page Setup, and I would like it to be landscape, please. I don't know why this stuff is here. It annoys me, but I'll just ignore it. So I can come into the insert image. I think you can get it from up here, insert image. And I have it saved to the drive, which is why it's easy. I guess you can also, I've never tried this feature, but you all might be faster at this than me, or you can upload it if you have it on your desktop or wherever. There's a lot of options. Oh, look, you can put the URL in, but I don't know, maybe I'm too old school. So then you can just drag these in here and you're gonna get a bounding box. You always wanna come from the corner so you don't distort them. And then you're just gonna make a collage. Oh wait, I don't want that one, I want this one. And keep adjusting. And what I did, I was playing around with all this because it's nice to have it on one sheet, just so you can like quickly look at it while you're working. So when you're clicked on the image, you have all these different options, and you can have it behind or in front. So when I was clicking on these, it was letting me kind of layer stuff up. So and so you could overlap a little bit. And so kind of just put everything behind or in front. So it would be able to be layered. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, here, let me get this. Talking and doing this isn't always, trying to get better at it. But see how this gets kind of funny in here? So when I do that behind or in front, and then you can also come to this drop down and you can do fixed position on page. So like it's not going to move if other things move, which is nice. And I think I had one more on here. What is it? Oh, this one. So so you're just really resizing and moving stuff around and getting it all in the right place. So, maybe I'm going to put this fixed position. Maybe have 4 or 5 images. See, it wasn't letting me move it because it had to be in line. So once I switch it to behind or in front, it'll let me go. Okay, so you're gonna take your time to make your collage how you want. You can make some bigger than others. Find what inspires you and what makes you excited about this project. You don't have to know exactly what your project is going to be. That's what this whole warm-up is about, to get you ready for your project. So you're just starting to work out your ideas, and then it's always good to put a little text in here and say, I always like to make the I of the illustration lowercase because I write the word so many times and I feel like it gets lost. It looks like 3 L's in the middle when you do. That's just me. And, have fun with your text. I like this one. And you can write your name, whatever you want. This is for you. Obviously, you're going to hand it in for a grade, but this is what you're going to look at. So this is something to have. A mood board is something to have a quick glance to be able to take a look at while you're working. If you're feeling like you need some inspiration, and when you're on the Pinterest board, it's like there's so much stuff and you click on everything and it can be overwhelming. So this is why I like putting it all into one document where you have this concise one document, one page where you're like, this is where I've narrowed down my inspiration images and this is what I'm really focusing on. You can always update your mood board. I just want you to get in the habit of making one. I think it's a really great way to start a project. If you're creative blocked, this is like a really awesome way to start. If you have no idea about what to do, just make a mood board. Go on Pinterest, go on the internet, do some scrolling and get inspired. So what I do want you to save it as is a PDF. And no matter where you're making your mood board, I would just want you to get in the habit of saving them as PDFs because then all of your formatting is saved. So if you have any special font in there, anyone can open it and see it exactly how you want it to be on a phone or a tablet or another computer. So it's always good to get in the habit of making PDF documents. So you'll download it as a PDF, put it onto Canvas, and I cannot wait to see your inspirations.